Hello, superstars, and welcome to the third episode of What's Your Hero Radio, the radio talk show where I talk about heroes I really like. I'm your host, Maya, and in this episode, we'll be talking about Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Service. Now, I know some of you are already in the comments like, Kiki's not a hero, why is she on the show? And, well, it's because one, she saves a life in the movie, so I think that automatically makes her a hero. But two, I think she's a hero to me in a way. Well, not in a way. I think she is a hero to me because she made me think about my life and kind of sort of helped me get it a little bit more together. I don't know. It's complicated and we'll get into it. But first and foremost, I want to say I watched this movie 2 days ago and I haven't stopped thinking about it. Now, historically, I have never actually seen a Ghibli movie. They never really interested me. Obviously, by this talk show, I like high action. I like intensity. I like battles between good and evil. That's usually the kind of content that speaks to me. But for some reason, Kiki came up somewhere. Kiki's Delivery Service, the movie. It came up, and the idea of comfort was brought up with it, and it was described in such a way I was like, huh, that really resonates with me. Like, that's something I want to feel. That's something I want to feel. Something I want to embrace and understand. So I sat down one night. I turned off the big light and turned on the small warm lights, which was really great atmosphere. And I watched the movie and I really enjoyed it. And I had this feeling of wow. Yeah, I sorry. I don't know. It's not a great way to describe it. Let's talk about Kiki. You know, on this show, obviously, I've been breaking down every character we're going to talk about into one word that I think defines them as a hero. And I think Kiki's word is going to be freedom. Or maybe free. Free. Yeah, I would say that Kiki's word is free. Because that's what she exemplifies to me. You know, obviously, the plot of the movie, she has to leave home to train as a witch, and pretty much gets to go wherever she wants to go. You know, she is free to explore the world, find a new place to settle down, make her own place in that life, and find her own skills that she wants to increase. You know, it's one of those things where she has everything on her plate. Well, not on her plate. She's sitting in a buffet and she can put whatever she wants on her plate. That's where I was going for with that analogy. And it's really wholesome to see her take such joy in this choice where she already knows what she wants to do. So she follows her path, and then she meets that other witch on the flight, which was really interesting because I didn't think it was going to be that impactful, but that witch kind of placed in her mind that, you know, she needs to have her skill that she can bring to, you know, this town she's going to settle down in and be resident witch. So she gets there, and then it's kind of one of those ideas where it's like you could say that she loses the idea of freedom by practicing her talent and then, you know, building the delivery service, but also, you know, as she throughout the movie towards the end, she loses her abilities, you know, because she feels othered in this new place that she's making for herself. But I actually think that also exemplifies freedom in a way and how free she is. Because, you know, she's not tied to a group. She is herself. And, you know, just because a word or a trait exemplifies a character doesn't mean it's exactly good or it's exactly bad. Kiki is free, and sometimes being free can be overwhelming and it can be hurtful because you don't have a place, or it's because you have so many options and it's overwhelming. You know, I think that's why at the start of the movie when Kiki is so free and she can make her decisions so easily about wanting to go south to a town by the ocean, it shows her strength. And then as you get there and you try to form your place and freedom becomes ever bigger, it gets overwhelming and you start to lose what you had, and then you have to ask yourself, what do you really have? But obviously, at the end of the movie, she gets her powers back and she has really found her place in this world and she keeps carving it out, and why she is that's why she is free. So again, if I were to put Kiki into one word, it would be free. And what makes her a hero? Maybe that should be another segment. What word exemplifies them? What makes them a hero? And then I have to do a voice acting corner. What am I going to voice act for Kiki? I didn't think about this before I started hitting record. What am I going to voice act for Kiki? Oh, we'll get there when we get there. What makes Kiki a hero? Obviously, again, she saves a life. But again, this is my show, and we're talking about why I think Kiki's a hero. Again, I think Kiki. I'm putting my personal thoughts into this, but I also think it could speak to someone else like me, maybe someone closer to Kiki's age. I am. How old am I? 22. I'm 20. 22? Yeah, I'm 22. It's like the weird thing where it's like after 21, your age doesn't matter. So it's like, anyway, I'm 22 and I'm about to graduate college. So that's why Kiki's story really resonated with me, because I am on the cusp of so much freedom that it is overwhelming to me. And I think that resonates with a lot of people throughout the world. And again, I think Kiki's hope and optimism and even her fears show people how you can handle freedom. It's how you can carve a place in the world. You just gotta get out there and know what you want and work with what you have. When Kiki first gets to the town, what is she good at? She's good at flying. So she builds something off of that. So that's something, you have to go somewhere and you know what works and you have to send it. You have to sell it. I think her story, it really resonated with me, and it made me take a look in the mirror and ask myself what I really wanted. And when I asked myself that question, I answered it differently than I thought I would. Well, I answered it in a way that I hadn't thought about in a while. Again, I'm about to graduate college. What does that look like for me? And I created this plan that did this and did that, but it wasn't what I really wanted. So when I looked in that mirror and I asked myself, what do I really want? I came up with an answer that I was satisfied with, that I loved, and that I had. I have the freedom to answer that question and follow that path like Kiki. And that's why I think Kiki is a hero to me and probably to a lot of others out there. Her story resonated with me, and it's a story that I think will evolve with me as I evolve. And yeah, that's why I don't know. Kiki's freedom is just something that really resonated with me, and that's why I think she's a hero, not just to me and to many others out there. Hell, this movie came out in 1989, and I'm making a video about it in 2026. It's a relevant movie that has a lot of heart into it, and that says a lot about the human condition and about life. And of course, the movie all encompassing is about finding your place in the world, which is a hard thing for anybody to do, and I think is one of the many questions we must ask ourselves. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm swallowing right now. I got gas in me or something. So one of the questions we must ask ourselves through life is, where is my place? Where do I belong? but also how do I belong and what do I do for life? It's just one of those movies that asks all those questions, and Kiki exemplifies them and is a hero through them all. She looks at life through these young, not naive, but hopeful eyes, and she has the freedom to make her choices and find her place. And I think that's why she's a hero, because she's just free. All right, for for the voice acting corner, yeah, I don't got anything for Kiki. I'm gonna be honest. I watched the movie dubbed. I haven't even watched it subbed. So obviously for Tanjiro and Goju Wolf, the past episodes, I tried to keep it in their native language, which unfortunately I can't do for Kiki. But also, like, what is Kiki's famous lines? Like, I don't know. I got "Let's go, Gigi." Like, I don't know. She talks to Gigi a lot. I'm Kiki, and I'm a witch in training, and I'm starting a delivery service. Did she even say that? Is that even a line? I should have come prepared for that. I don't know. I just had a lot of thoughts on her freedom and how she's a hero to me, and again, probably to many others, and I didn't really think about voice acting corner. So there, you got 2 lines for voice acting corner. Don't worry, I'm planning these. All that to say, Kiki really left an impact on me as a hero, and has made me even more hopeful. I'm already a hopeful person, but she made me a lot more hopeful and more free. So yeah, that's why I think Kiki is a hero. All right, superstars. Thank you for listening to this episode, and I'll see you in the next one.